Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use a Google Doc to share with students and use the Brisk Writing Coach. This is a great way for students to get help with their writing as they are often hesitant to ask for help. It's a great way to boost their confidence. And one of the great aspects of this also is that as a teacher, your dashboard will be showing how the students are doing on all the objectives that you have set, and you can also see the chatbot history with the student. So go ahead and get started here. First thing you're going to want to do is simply create a new Google Doc. You're going to want to give it a title that's meaningful to you. In this case, I'm calling this a win writing task number one. One of the primary things that you need to make sure that you do is that you write on your Google Doc here, specifically what you would like the students to do. The Brisk AI tool is going to use your prompt here as part of its information about how it's going to create your custom writing bot. So in this case, I simply write a paragraph, 4 to 6 sentences, that describes your favorite holiday, include details about the holiday and why you like it. I'm going to go down to my Brisk app. I already have it open. If you don't have Brisk, you can simply download it from the Chrome Web Store. You do have a free educator account. I'm going to be using the Boost Student Activity option. If you're not familiar with Brisk, there are lots of other things you can explore. This is simply one of the things you can do with Brisk. I'm going to boost the student activity, and I'm going to create the activity from this document. What it's going to do, it's going to offer us to enter our class name. I already have some classes entered. So this is my writing win class. I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to get to select my tutor. Now Brisk has lots of different tutors that you guys can use. And so if you click on the arrow down here, we'll get a menu of all the tutors from debate, brainstorming, inquiry, pulse check, exit ticket. We get down to writing, and there are a few different writing coaches or tools that Brisk has. I'm just going to use the basic writing coach for today. Again, you might want to explore some of these other pre-made chatbots for your students later on. I'm also going to make sure that the language is appropriate, and in this case, this is a 6th grade class, so I'm going to choose 6th grade. Right. One of the cool things that we can do is we can add a rubric here. You do not have to add a rubric. Generally, Brisk will read your prompt and come up with some objectives that are grade level appropriate. But I'm just going to add a rubric because it is a writing activity, and I have already downloaded the Oregon State writing rubric, the scoring guide. I'm just going to add that. That way, Brisk is going to know specifically about what my objectives are for my students with their writing today. I can also go into standards if I want to get more specific. In this case, I'm probably not going to because it already has the Oregon State writing standards, but I could go in and I could search up Oregon, and I could go to language arts, and then I could go to 6th grade, and I can go to writing, and then it's going to give me all of the Oregon State standards more specifically. And if you did choose, let's say, in this case, just for fun, I'm going to choose this one where the description is the production and distribution of writing to produce clear and coherent writing in which the development, organization, and style are appropriate to task, purpose, and audience. Sure. For our example, I'm going to choose that also. So I have given the bot more parameters to work with. At this point, I feel like I'm ready to move on. This area right here will be pre-populated with a statement that says create an activity about the attached document. That seems appropriate since I have attached my rubric. The Google Doc, I already told the bot what the students are supposed to do, and I've given it standards. That should be enough for Brisk to come up with a really good writing bot for us. So I'm going to hit continue. At this point, Brisk is working through all of the information I have put into the tool. Um, and it comes up in this case with 3 learning objectives for my students. I can add more. I can go ahead and write in my own objectives. In this case, it wants the students to work on their ideas, their organization, and their word choice. I'm going to say for me, for today, for this example, that sounds great. I'm going to make sure it shows that to students. I'm going to make sure that this toggle is on and the students know specifically what they are working on. And as they are working, they're going to be able to check their progress. So if you look over here on the right, it's giving me an idea of what the kids are going to see. So Brisk will give them these 3 objectives on their Google Doc, and they will get to see how they're doing. It's going to sort of rank them from red to yellow to green, depending on how they're doing as they move through. The AI guardrails are basically by default here for everything that Brisk is doing with this age group. It's going to act as a coach. It's not going to write for them. It's going to keep them on topic, etc. You can add more guardrails as you wish. You would just have to type in here and add them. And then for scaffolding, it lets you know how it's going to help your struggling students and your advanced students, etc. It's going to give you specifics about your task, how it's going to support your students. I'm going to read this over. I think it looks good to me. And then finally, the students are going to receive an editable copy of the document. That's exactly what I want. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to create the activity. And I am going to get a personal copy so I can see what the kids are going to see, which I always think is really, really helpful. It's going to give the name of the user right here in the title of the Google Doc. So if you have a student named Johnny Example, it's going to say Johnny Example when writing task number 1, Google Docs. Then Johnny can start writing directly under your prompt. And over here on the right is where they have the writing coach. It's going to tell them what they're writing about, and it's going to give them kind of a little description of what they need to write. So as Johnny starts to write in here, maybe he says, my favorite holiday. I'm going to use a little help from Google there, is Halloween. I love candy. Okay. So then I'm going to pretend like Johnny is wondering, how am I doing? How am I doing? And Brisk is going to read his document. And Brisk lets Johnny know that he started his paragraph and that it's a good beginning. However, to improve, he's going to need more details about activities I might enjoy. Also wants me to work on organizing ideas into a few clear sentences. So it's going to give the students some really clear guidelines about what they can do to improve their writing. As Johnny continues to write, he can continue to ask Brisk how he's doing, and it will give him some really helpful guidance as he works through. Okay, now how do we share this with students? You will go up to share up here in the upper right hand corner. And for the most part, you're going to probably just copy the student activity link, and then you would put that into your Canvas assignment. You can also have kids go to app.brisk.com, and then they could type in this code. Either way will work for them to get access to your document. As a teacher, your dashboard will show all the students in your class. It will show how they are doing on these learning objectives, and you will get to see how each student is interacting with the bot. This will give you real insight. It's going to allow you to have more time to work with the kids who really need help. And for those kids who really don't like to ask for help, or kind of the kids in the middle, the bot is going to be there for them the entire time. And so far, from what I've seen with staff working with Brisk writing, it's really helped, especially some of their middle struggling students with writing and just being more confident with what they write. So I hope this is helpful for you. Always reach out with any questions, or if you'd like me to come in and work with your class, um, you can reach out to me anytime via email at timothy_livingston.k12.or.us.